afternoon, wherever you find yourself. Welcome to another episode of IoT Tuesday with yours truly, Saul at this day. In today's episode, we're going to go to part two of what we started 2 weeks ago outside IoT LoRa Gateway to Microsoft Hub. We were supposed to do that last episode, but that if that sounds like something that you want to do with us, they can stay with us when we come back. We'll get straight into it. Go anywhere. Some on the show we try to demystify everything for you specifically them with your if this is something to do with us, hey, please like the channel, subscribe. Well, so in today's episode, like I mentioned, taking up part two, setting up our malware site, malware site, file site, LoRa Gateway, which we have. Before that, I have a bit of some very exciting announcement to make and to share. Most of you would know that for the past couple of months, I've After Climate, a project I'm working on. Well, in the news, it would interest you to know. It would interest you to know that as of now, the air quality in this is live. This is the current air quality, as reported, updated as of 8 p.m. today, February 6th. You can see that right from here, that 8 today, the air quality index. So it is 268, which is very very healthy. Anywhere between T is very good, but this is where we are thanks to Air IQ Air. This is the current status of the air quality. Please, if you're in Accra, wear your mask. It's not Hamatan. We're really going through very terrible air. Now, to segue in that conversation, how terrible our air quality is. The question is, how are they getting this data? Well, it's a combination of what we call reference monitoring. As of now, there are a few reference monitoring in a country which are providing this data. Augmented with other low-cost sensors, we are able to actually tell the exact situation in the country. And that is what I want to talk to you about. Last um last three episodes, I introduced crafted. What crafted climate is I want to say the first low cost air quality sensor developed solely here in Ghana, engineered, designed, and yeah, it's yes, exciting. Thank you very much. Uh, it is we are this is our contribution towards the fight for a cleaner and good air quality for all of us, where you can actually use these devices to monitor the air quality and then report to EPAs and IQM places for us to know how bad our air quality is. Now, it's not just to know how bad the air quality is, it's also to it takes understanding what's bad air quality, because if you know the air quality in a particular area and over time you realize that it's bad, that informs check out what's happening. And also with this data, we can actually engage community and what practices, what behaviors they are doing affecting the air quality, causing us. If you didn't know, in Ghana, 20,000 people every year from poor air quality related disease. Globally, it is 6.7 million die every due to bad air quality, ambient air pollution. So it is a problem. Now, in that, still talking about that, it's exciting to announce that Crafted Climate was actually part of Microsoft Startup for Founders Hub, and we recently got our next level of fund, which was $25,000. Yes, $25,000 from Microsoft Startups to allow us, in terms of collecting all that data and putting it out, doing the AI, machine learning, and all that. Proudly sponsored and funded by Microsoft, $25,000. So exciting news. Captain Climate is getting a lot. To share that with you. So you realize that here I don't just talk IoT, I live IoT, I use it, and I build IoT. So all the learnings we're doing, we're actually leveraging and using it for our own growth. Apologies today, I might not be plugging that just about before I started messing while we are on for the regular 8 p.m. GMT schedule, but that doesn't take. So that's the good news, exciting news we have from Crafted Climate. So we are calling on all stakeholders and anybody who is interested in climate action, join us. We are now at the stage where we are mass producing. So we're looking out for partners, for people to. Hey Adam, nice to join. The microphone keeps cutting, making it hard to hear. Adam, let's see. You know what? Can you hear me now? Okay. So Adam, thank you very much for that. Just let me know if it cuts again. I'll probably go and look into something that happened I think some time back where there was some filter on it that was causing it. I know I'm not using any paid filter that is causing any problem. Adam, is it okay now? Hopefully it's not cutting out. It's much better now. So, but let me know if it's still cutting out. I will try as much as possible to adjust it so you can hear me. Thank you very much, Adam, for alerting me on that. So yeah, so that is where we are with Crafted Climate. We try as much as possible to make it practical. So today, interesting. So a couple of things I want to share before we get into today's session is to do a little unboxing. Sure, seems better. Okay, thank you very much, Adam. Thank you so much for that update. So what I want to share with you today, so we started by looking at our, how do you call it? Looking at our LoRa Gateway, which is this one, right? I'm trying to bring it in short. Yeah, it's quite huge, so I'm keeping it over there, which is already connected. Now, so you might be asking, so what's the communication protocol for most of our sensors or the platforms we're building? So we underlining all our sensors are Bluetooth and Wi-Fi compatible, but the core communication protocol, the core communication for all of them, most of them, is GSM. So we have a partner on Mondo. I wanted to show you how that works. Just a second. I am by no means advertising for any company, but that's what I use. So one of the challenge would have been deploying this into the field. You wouldn't know where you would have good signal strength to be able to transmit the data that the sensors collect. Like, right now that we're facing this bad air quality situation, how are the sensors reporting? So for most of our sensors currently that we are deploying are all using GSM communication. Now the challenge there would be, what if I'm in a place where MTN doesn't have a strong signal strength? What if I'm in a place where there is another service that probably doesn't have a strong signal strength? How do I deal with that? So yes, we know that's a problem. So the solution to that is working with one of our partners on Mondo. And what this is a multi-network SIM card, which we put in our devices that's able to toggle between multiple networks. So now almost all the three major network providers, Edmondo is able to support that. So big ups to Edmondo. So what happens is that we set our devices up, they connect using the SIM card based on the area you are, wherever we are deploying it with the strongest signal strength, and then it uses that uses the SIM cards with a data provision to send the data to our cloud, in this case Microsoft Azure. So right now we're going through Azure in different ways. Now some of the sensors we have also speak what we call LoRa, And for the past couple of episodes, I've been talking about LoRa all around. And what you're seeing is a LoRa gateway that's able to serve at least about 2,000 nodes within between a 5 to 10 kilometer radius. If you're in the urban, cities and all that, you're looking at about 5 kilometer radius. If you are in the rural area, you're looking probably about 9 10 kilometer radius. So that means that if we deploy this gateway within a 9 10 kilometer radius, we could deploy up to 1,000 crafted climate devices, which we call CrowdSense, right? Good. Judge Kujo, yes, it's good to be back, Kujo. Thank you so much. Yeah, so that is a communication with it. So the architecture right now is, at the moment, all the individual sensors as of now we've deployed are sending the data directly to our cloud, which is the Azure cloud. However, in the LoRa deployment, what you want to do is allow for the sensors, right? Is allow for the sensors to be able to send data to a gateway, and the gateway propagates that data to the cloud. Now, what this does is allow for scalability. So then imagine if you're deploying 1,000 nodes, you wouldn't need 1,000 SIM cards, right? I hope it's thinking it. So this is where, so someone will say, what about in places where, in the rural areas where there's no even connectivity, how will the gateway connect to the internet? So this is where, we're encouraging and calling on partners like Starlink and other, satellite communication services, where they can only provide the gateway with access to the internet, and all the other nodes would just send their data directly to the gateway. So today we're going to just talk about that, right? We started talking about it. I showed you the gateway. We started setting it up, and we were supposed to have done the setup where we connected to Azure IoT Hub, right, before we went on the break. But before then, I want to unbox and show you something here. This is the Rack Wireless. It's a Rack Wireless field tester. It's a LoRa field tester. So the question is, what's a field tester? Now, just like any network, at some point you want to know, the signal strength and whether you still have connectivity. So what this is a nifty device that we connect. So if we open it up, let's see if we can. Much easier. So this is what's in the box. The device itself. This here is what to power it. I'm just trying to turn it on so that show you how it looks. Okay, there you go. Yeah, rack wire. That's the battery level. It's not connected to anything. What I will do is that take take the antenna. Once this is how it looks like. Right? Now, so what you do is that we're going to pair this field tester with a gateway behind me. Now, so we'll set it up on the gateway. Then we can now move, like, just travel around. So if I pair it with this gateway, then I can start moving around and test the distance. So I can go 1 kilometer, I can go from up to 10 kilometers and still see, based on the readings we have on it, whether the signal strength is still good enough, right? So that is the field tester. Let me see if I can get a better view here. So that is a field tester. It's not connected to radio, so it will all be part of a thing channel. So with this, I can set up my gateway, and then I can tell where, how the places where the signal is strong enough to deploy the sensors as well, so that I can get good quality transmission, right? So yep. So that is it for the, how do you call it, for the filter star. Let's keep it today's session. So I hope as of now there's no confusion. Everything seems to be on point and good. So let's go ahead now. And so in the last time I mentioned that in trying to set up the gateway comes with its own how do you call it? Gateway has server on it, you set it up. So I have done that, and like I promised in the last episode, I wasn't able to show you that. So I've set that up, and I'm going to show you how that looks, and then I'll try to log in, and we can see the interface and walk through it, right? So let's do that. So what you're seeing now, is my, if I show you, if I take you back to the bench, right? If I take you back to the bench, actually, let me do this so that I want to make sure that bench only. So what I'm doing is I'm just setting up a trigger here. So if I take it to the bench, you can see this is my MacBook, which is connected to the Wi-Fi of the gateway. That's how I'm able to capture that and show it to you on the screen. So we're gonna go here. So you realize that if I Wi-Fi setting connected to it, gateway and blah blah blah. So that's just connected to the Wi-Fi. I'm gonna go ahead and log in, and then I'll walk you through what's in there. Okay, so we are it. Has all the model, all that information. Cellular. As of now, I don't have any SIM card. So if I wanted to do this has a backhaul, so I could connect it with one of the this SIM cards, or as of now, I've connected it to the Ethernet. Actually, I showed how to do this on a previous episode. So if you missed it, you can just go catch it up there. Then here we have the network. As you can, network is up. The wireless LAN, which is the Wi-Fi. It's now in an access point mode. You can connect to it and set it up. Then you can set up some VPN, so some security stuff as well. So you can do port forwarding if you want to access it from a remote. And we won't go, and we're not going to go too much into these things. But what I want us to be focusing on, we'll focus on today, is the network side of things. Where in the network side of things, go to applications, and this is where we're going to set up our IoT hub. Now, before we do that, just a little context. So what we are trying to do is when the sensor, when all the sensors, this one and all our other sensor lines. So we have CrowdSense, we have a HomeSense, we have MindSense, we have different sensors that we've manufactured and built. Because they all speak LoRa, we're going to register them on the gateway, and they're going to send the data to the gateway. And when they send the data to the gateway, we need a way to propagate that data to the cloud, right? Now, when it gets to the cloud, you can have different workloads. In our case, we're using Azure. Now, I'm going to share a very common architecture with you, right? I'm going to share a very common Azure IoT architecture with you. It's just for reference, just to understand, pretty much kind of what we are doing. Let's go to the IoT. Yeah, so I'm going to use this. Let's use. So what you're seeing here is a typical example of an Azure, IoT architecture setup. So on this side, you have your devices. So this could be, this case, CrowdSense devices. It could be Azure IoT device. It could be anything, right? Now, depending on the deployment you've done or you're working on, you might have to use an edge device, right? Which might be running Azure IoT Edge, where some of the processing power and inference and things done on the edge. And in subsequent series, I'll be talking about the Microsoft Edge Arc and all the new stuff coming in the Microsoft IoT ecosystem. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and enjoy all the goodness. Now, so you go through the edge, and then that makes a provision that connects to your cloud, right? And if you've been following the channel and you don't even know anything, the simplest you need to understand is that the gateway into the cloud for IoT devices is IoT Hub, bi-directional communication between devices and the cloud and so on. So you can go through IoT Hub, or you can go through device provisioning service that allows you to automatically provision your IoT devices on the Azure cloud without having you stress a lot. Or you can actually go send it directly to the Azure Digital Twins, which is a digital representation of your physical asset. We're actually implementing a lot of these, so we'll show you some of the cool things we're doing. I can't give it out, but we'll get to the point where you could be in HoloLens, you could be in Oculus and actually see the sensor, see the values and see how it's working. And we can actually even simulate the particles for you to see. So it could go in there. Then you have three parts, right? You can do the hot part, you can do the warm part, and the cold part. So the hot part can go to stream analytics, where you're making inference, anomaly detection, where you can build the alert and warning systems. So for instance, you've been able to train some ML modules in random in stream analytics that in the case where the air quality is bad now in Ghana, what's going to happen is that you can do a push notification, and anybody that is subscribed to your application or some national alert system to say, hey, the air quality is bad, take these precautions, right? You can do that. The one part is using Azure Data Explorer, also pretty much kind of like a box, everything in a box, so you can also do querying, analysis, and Power BI dashboards and stuff like that. Or you can also pipe the data to machine learning to do some machine learning, build some machine learning models for forecasting and prediction. And then all these data can be accessed by the APIs connected to Power BI, Azure Maps, and then we can plot where the sensor is. We can use search, do the search. You can put cognitive services on it. You can put Open AI on it, where someone can just go in and even create GPTs on top of it. And someone can just go and say, hey, what's the weather? What's the air quality in Accra? You can have a conversation with it based on the data on top of it. So the possibilities are endless. But today, we want to concentrate on this middle side, right? The middle side that is sending the data to the ingestion and provisioning service. So in this case, look at what is being referred to here as IoT Hub as the gateway. It's not the IoT Hub. This one doesn't. I've not tested it to run any IoT edge, but it could have been an edge device. It's running a version of Linux on it, so who knows? You could probably mess around. So that's the concept. That's the example, right? So we're going to go ahead to try to set up how to set that up. Now, the base for this communication or this architecture, if we go back to that, is an MQTT broker, right? So the message, telemetry queue. Basically, what you're doing is that you're sending your data through MQTT to your cloud service, and you can do your inference, and you can do your routing and notification stuff on it. So basically, the process of what we're trying to do today is to set up an MQTT broker, right, as an application on Azure and then connect it. But not yet. But this time we're going to use IoT Hub. Now there is a recent upgraded Azure Event Grade namespaces, which has MQTT broker and stuff like that. So once we finish, we can connect it to it. We can also I can show you how you can also connect to different brokers. So you can connect it to any other MQTT broker. But in our case, since we are Azure bias, we're going to use Microsoft Azure IoT, right? So yeah, so if you have any questions, let me know. Let me put it on the presenter so I'll walk you through the process. Let's do this. UG. So this is UG67. So yeah, so we're going to start now. So basically, what that's going to allow us to do is just to set up the IoT Hub preferences and all that, and then you put them on here for us. So let's go ahead. Let me go up and I'm going to go to our Azure portal. If you don't have an Azure account, you can create one for free and leverage all the cool stuff in there using Okay. Gotta be. Go, go, let's go, let's go. Yep, approved. Go. Okay. So, so now we are in our Azure Cloud, and we're gonna go to our. I think we're gonna go to our resource group for IoT. Okay. So there we go. Resource Tuesday. This is not an Azure lesson, but I've taught how to do this and also. Yeah. So you see, we have one application center here. Then we also have Azure Master. Boop. That I can secure myself. Sorry, I can hide some of my very yeah. So we have the IoT Hub here. Sorry, guys, my throat is responding to the bad air quality. So, for the sakes of showing you how this is done, I'm going to create a different one, right? So this is just an old IoT Hub we've had. We've used it on a show to connect different devices. We could leverage that, right? So here, if you go to devices, so we have a few of them, or we've deleted them for the show. So getting to have information, you can have edge updates and queries. I think we had a few devices here. We might have deleted them. I'm not sure, but yeah, we have the LoRa. Oh, okay. So oh, this was for an old gateway. All right. So don't worry. Yeah, I think we're going to use this. We're just going to use this IoT Hub. Now, if you're wondering how we created it, quite simple. The resource group, you go to create at the top. You navigate to do your you go to IoT Hub. You can type it from a marketplace, or you can actually just favorite it and it will be in your favorite. So there you go, Azure IoT Hub. Just select the hub, select IoT Hub. You can click on create. This is just a fast track thing because we already have that. Here, select the subscription you want to use. The resource group name should be prefixed by default. If you press the click from the resource group, it will pre-fill the resource group for you. Else, you can just the drop down and pick whichever one you give your hub a name, select the region, select your pricing tier. You can compare the price by clicking here. And based on the pricing tier you select, you can see the message limit. So this one for the standard is about 400,000 daily message, and you're looking at about $25 a month, right? But yeah, like I said, there are options. There are free ones you can do. Um, if you're just getting started, you can just go for the free one, right? You have 8,000 zero. Yeah, just testing. You can use that at no cost. So pretty much that's the process we went through to create the IoT Hub ones, which is the one you have here. So that's what we're going. So we have the hub ready, and we're going to get some of the data from the hub to populate this. Very painful. I should have set up that's the thing. Anyway, sorry, we'll figure it out. So now let's go to gateway side of things here. And yeah, if you have any question, just push it to. Hello, sorry. Okay, thank you. We can talk about that later. Thank you very much. All right, so to do this, like I mentioned, we've created the IoT Hub. Now, one thing we need to do is that we need to also make sure that in creating the device, we ensure we are using more of a a symmetric key to do that. So Uh, sorry. So that's the process that I took you through. So if you open the, so if you go back here and you go here to security, you know, you can see we'll walk through that. So here we have our device. Should we create another device? I think we should create a new device. So let's go ahead. I'm going to create a device for the gateway, right? And then I want to finish with this and then we can come back to this. So let's go here, click on devices. So on the left side here on the blade, the device management, go ahead and click on devices. And then we are going to add a device. We're going to add a device. So this is what I was saying, right? So ensuring that I'm using metric key, connect to this device to an IoT hub is enabled. No parent device yet. The keys are auto generated. Now this is not an edge device, right? So if this was an edge device, I would have selected an edge device. Say that, hey, this is an edge device that process, because edge devices would have some containers deployed. So this one is UG7. So let's go ahead and do UG 67, right? And then let's click on save right here. And this, yep, this should create. So this should create the UG the device for us, right? Now, Azure supports. You need to use some SaaS tokens, right? And based on the SaaS tokens, we're going to use these tokens to figure our gateway. So it's more or less like just like security, right? Just security on how you connect gateway. So let's do this. There's going to be some. Now you could actually, if you do this, you could actually do that if you want to, right? You could use the code if you want to. I'm saying if you use CLI, if you wanted to use Azure CLI, if you wanted to use that. However, you could also use the connection string, which I'm showing here. So if you go to, let's go to the devices. For every device you select, right, you should see so it has a primary and secondary connection, right? So these are the keys, primary, secondary keys, and then it has a connection string as to how you can connect to this. Now, it's prefixed with the keys or the SaaS tokens, right? So you can either generate the key using your CLI or just come into the browser this way and do that. I'm not going to obviously show you the key because someone will say this is public transport. So like I said, you can have the device ID here. This is the primary key, secondary primary connection. So we use one of these to set it up. So what I want to do now is if I have if I have the SaaS token, right, which is appended to it, I can use it. So what I want to do now is, yeah, I think that is set up. And you can actually, the good thing is that you can actually do also this. You can do this also from the IoT Hub, right? Sorry, you can do this from Visual Studio Code. So an easy way of achieving it is primarily connecting. You're connecting to, let's say, if I'm using Visual Studio on the Mac right now, I can now connect through Visual Studio and then download those keys and use them to do it, right? But let's get this going. So I'm going to copy this. I'll copy the primary key. I'm going to put it some. And then copy the primary key. Then the primary connections. So the shared access key is actually added, right, to it. Now, if you also want to do that, you can literally, like I mentioned, you can create your own shared access key, right? You can create another one if you want to. You can give it a name, and then you can create the key, and that is if you don't want, because the reason why, the key is a bit complicated, right? It's a long key. So if you just want to, let's say, test it out by creating your own key, something that is easier and simple to do, you can actually do that, right? And when you do that, you can now replace the primary key connection with that key, right? So let me show you something. I'm going to give you a little. Ah, go paste it. So let me show you. So don't worry, we're going to go through this code. Don't stress. It's quite simple, right? So this is the Azure CLI. So it's Azure IoT Hub. Generate. Hey Sam, sorry I'm here. Hey Ellie Clean, where have you been? You've been missing in action for a very long time. Yeah. So if you go to Azure IoT Hub, generate SaaS token, right? This is it. And then connection string. Then you provide the connection string, right? You provide the connection string this way. And this generates the SaaS token, right? This generates a SaaS token for you. Now, and then once you have the SaaS token, you can go and replace the SaaS token in any of your connection string, right? If you want to make it a lot easier for you, or you can just generate that from portal. So I'll just stick to the how do you call it? What I have, or I'll just run it. Actually, let me just run it, and I'm going to run it offline and then show you that. Just hide the data from me. So, but to do this is quite simple. Let me show you. You can do so from your Azure, right? You can click on the CLI. Let me show you right here. You can do it from within Azure, or you can. University is hard. I know, right? University is hard. So when you click here, this opens, going to open the console for you. Now you can also do this. Um, you can do this in your on your local terminal, right? You just need to log in. That's the thing. You just have to log in to your cloud account. But the only thing also with this one is that anytime you create if you want to use a cloud terminal, you need to have a storage account to install. So you can use that, or you can just logging in. Hey, run the same thing from your console. I can show you the same thing. Let's use this, and I can say, hey, create it. Just create account. So what's going to happen is that it's going to go out and create a storage account, mount it, and that's where it will, all my commands and things there. Now, on the other hand, you can also, like I mentioned, use VS Code, right? So I can go ahead and do a new window, VS Code. Let's go. And also, so here in VS Code, make sure that you have your Azure CLI extensions installed. So Azure, you can type Azure, and then you can see, come on, yeah. So you can see you have the Azure CLI tools, running command. Yeah. So let me install it. Yeah, and then it's going to install all the other required stuff. Right. I'm not doing machine learning. It's just CLI that I want. I have that beta. Now there's also Azure tools that allows you. Yeah, so there you go. So this is the Azure AZD, but we're using Azure CLI, right? So everything is installed. We have to start. Go ahead and restart. Also waiting. Let's see if yep. So you can see Private resource, private server in the resource was not found. Ah, okay. So that was a fine. All right. So, like I was saying, right, you can use, let's, so here I'm already in it. I'm already connected to it. It gives me my, um, my console, right? So with that, with the console set, I can now go as what I'm going to do is you see the code I copied. I'm not going to share it with you because I'm going to start to generate um my token. I would switch to the some I'm going to do after I finish running after I finish running the code. Connection string. And then here easy. Actually I can show you the side and then when I'm ready to put in my connection string. Okay. So you have IoT Hub, Azure IoT Hub, generate there you go, SaaS token. Then you do connection and oh, I can't even type string. There you go. So yeah, connection string. Now here I paste in my connection string. And once I do that, it's going to go ahead um generate the SaaS token for me. So back here, bum, 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 bum. Let's do trying to get rid of this. Yeah, my connection string came with some extra parameters. I'm just getting rid of safety first, right? So let's do this, and I'll hit enter. Go, let's go, let's go. It's running, 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 and that will generate. Let's. What do I? Okay, so this command will continue to run after the execution. Do you want to install it now? So um, I didn't. I didn't pass in. Let's. I should have passed the. Okay, so let me now install it now. Okay, so I'm going to run it again, right? And this time I'm going to specify the duration, which is dash d, right? Dash seconds. Let's do 3. Okay, so let's go. That's running, and yes, so it's asking me now that I have done that, right? What do I want to do with the SaaS token? So let's go ahead. Yeah, yeah, let's install the extension. So there was a missing extension in my, so it's going to install the extension and then generates the token for. Now, once that is done, the token will be generated. Let's see if I can hide. Unfortunately, unfortunately, I can't hide it. Now, don't worry. I've shown you the CLI way, right? I'll show you how to do it also in how do you call it? I'll show you how to do it. I'm going to show you how to do it also. So yep. So it's created a SaaS token. I can see the SaaS token right now, but I can't share it with you guys. So let's do this. Copy the SaaS token. SaaS token here. Now let's go to the desk. Actually, let me just minimize desk. Now that's the first way to do to create a SaaS token, because we need a SaaS token to app. So let's go. Now you can also generate it using IoT Hub. Do that. So let's go. Let me this fill in. Check something real quick. Get device information. That's good. Hold on. No, we're not generating. Okay, no. Just wanted to be sure that we were on the same. Yeah. So here you have your shared access policies, but you can also create. It's almost like what we just did, right? It's like what we just did. So I can create an IoT owner, access policy. Said that it's almost like what we just did. For the shared access data too. But let me show you how to do that on VS Code. Oh, come on. You're still asking me. Yeah, I hope it's off a bit. All right, looks like that's okay. Now, again, remember you need to log in your Azure account on VS Code for it can actually, right? So what you can go in here is go to Azure on your left side. So if I show you this on your left side, where you have your extension, right here, you see the Azure sign. That's what we want to use. Okay, so you want to click on that, and you can go into the subscription that you are using. Yeah, it's resources. You just close. So this is going to load all your resources, right? Now, so the resources here is your subscriptions that you have in the cloud. So I would use this thanks to Microsoft. If I select this, right, that's going to pretty much open the resources, right? Then on Visual Studio Code, I can use Control Shift P. Now, when you type Control Shift P, it opens the console, right, for you. And in there, I can type Azure IoT Hub. And once you type IoT Hub, you can see all the commands and extra things you can do with it, right? Oh, sorry. Azure, right? So can you see that? So primarily, I can do all these actions right from Visual Studio Code. I didn't have to do that in the Azure portal, right? So I can device provisioning, create a device, and what we are interested for is generating SaaS token for device, not IoT Hub itself. Now, one thing to note, if you create a SaaS token for IoT Hub, that's giving you access to the entire hub and any other devices you're creating within the hub, right? But if you create a SaaS token for the device, that means there's access to that device in the hub, right? Let's get it clear. So I'll go ahead and do that once again. Azure IoT Hub, and then generate SaaS token for device, right? So now it's giving me IoT Hub connection string. So press enter to confirm. So blah blah. So see here, the same way, I would go ahead and paste the connection string. I can go ahead, copy these connections, bring it here, paste it in there, and then oh come on. So it says that format should be host name. Yeah, that's what I have. I think there's I copied I copied some other extra elements. Forgive me. Yes. Yeah. So but basically, as you can see, that information here. So it's the same way. Generate SaaS token for device, paste it. So we see I needed to conform to this. I was just messing with it. But basically that is it. And then when you do this, it will generate the token for you. So choose whichever one that works for you. Okay, choose whichever one that works for you. So let's see. Let's see. I'm just thinking we should probably just want to okay. Okay, so this one, right? Um want me to take out so you can see your host name, shared access key name, the shared key, right? So this makes us take out the device name and then you choose the device. So we're gonna go ahead and copy this. Always do it in the then we okay. So let's do shared access. Okay. To mouse side. There you go. So this goes in there and then it looks for the device. It's going to look for the devices within that um, connection string that I sent minus the devices. I already have the SaaS token, but I'm just showing you how to create this in Visual Studio. So we'll go through it, select all that, and then you'll be able to pick the device and then create the SaaS token for it. And this one, I'm not sure if it would work, but I'm just anticipating that should be oh no, I don't mean the generation of SaaS token. I mean that with this, I could literally actually open up the stuff I have in here. So let's see. I could literally open, so I have all the I open the IoT hub. Let's yes. So this is it. So here, if I go to IoT hub here, Azure IoT Hub device provisioning, right? So if I refresh this or even sign into Azure, yeah, it's going to pop this up for me. This is what I was saying. So I just have to log in with it. So let's do Outlook again. Yeah, I believe it would work. So what I'm trying to test out is because yeah, we're signing. So there you go. Because there's Azure IoT Hub device provisioning service here, and I believe there is also the IoT Hub, we should be able to select the devices, right click and generate. I've not done that before, but I'm just thinking probably that's in there. But if it's not, then yeah, no such thing were found if you have yet. Yeah, so yep, so that's it. Anyway, so that's how you create your task looking also from here. All right, awesome. Now let's go. Let's continue. Let's go to, where is that? So we have that generated, right? So devices UG UG 6 yeah, 67. There you go. We have all that set up. Cool. So now that we have that set up, we now need to go and configure the MQTT in our LoRa gateway. Now the thing is that, yeah, this is sounding interesting. So let's go to, so here under right, and then, oh, I was logged out. So let's go ahead and logging again. Network. Then on the right side here, we'll click create application, right? So the name of the application and all that, we pretty much do. I'm going to give it a name. I'm going to call it, I'm going to call it Azure Cloud. Give it a description. So pick cloud there, given it a name. I think there's a prefix there by configuration there by, right? Call it cloud, and then that creates it. So now we're going to go ahead and specify the type of application it is and set it up and all that. Now, bear in mind, you could add as many applications as you want, because the function of the gateway, so I could have different sets of LoRa nodes communicating to a different IoT gateway, IoT hub, right? Or as I'll probably show in subsequent episode, I can also set up the Azure Event Grid namespaces, because it's also an MQTT broker, and I can have a different set of sensors, right? Speak to this application. So on the gateway, I can have multiple applications connected to different Azure IoT resources that I can use. Now I can also connect this to, let's say, different MQTT brokers anywhere, right? Just so you know, you're not restricted to this. So let's go in here. Under the type, I'm going to go ahead and add, the type information. You can see from the drop down, I have HTTP, MQTT, HTTPS, via client IP, right? If I'm doing, let's say MQTT, which is the event grid namespaces, I can just do select MQTT, right? If I want to do direct just HTTP, so the data comes to the gateway just makes an HTTP call to like another API endpoint or something through the gateway, I could also do that. But we're going to use MQTT, and then we're going to select the information about the broker, the host, and then because we are passing everything to all the information we are passing, we're sending it to our IoT hub. See, it's going to ask me for all that information. But I'm going to select the address, give it a name, maybe any name I want to. Now, the broker port is mostly 8883, right? Then the client ID, I can give it the device ID I set up in Azure. And then the username, I can use the host name slash the device ID, right? So the username will be the host name slash the device ID. Actually, let me give you You copy this. I have some um, things to help us. So this is how we will set it up. So this is how we'll set it up. And then so wherever you have the SaaS token, put a generator SaaS token, right? Now, if TLS is enabled and and selected, then we need to publish or provide a right. So I'm going to go ahead and put all this information in there, and then I'm going to run. Oh, 1 hour 3 minutes. Yes. All right. So it looks like we're going to go to a part 3 of this, where all is going to come together. But this is I'm going to input this information in the provided box, and pretty much that would be that will be it. And once done, we should be able to check the connectivity of it from here. So in next week's episode, we're going to take it from here. Now that we've connected it IoT Hub, I might just show you how to just walk you through the steps of probably connect with names. Well, then now we'll bring back our setup, the LoRa device, to send the data to the gateway. Gateway will publish it to our IoT Hub. Have any fun we want with it. Well, thank you so much for spending an hour with me on today's show. It's a gradual process. We're learning how to build, and trust me, this is the same process we employ in deploying our crafted climate crafts and sensors. So make a day with me next week. Let's stop. Let's have some fun. Let's learn. And hey, the air quality is bad, so when you're out there, wear your mask. It's not covered, but protect yourself, protect your family. And I'll see you again next week.